just talk about the game against Central Utah. I mean, it felt like a total team win. Your defense allowed less than 50 passing yards. Offense put up over 500 yards of offense. Is this one of the most complete wins that you guys have felt you had all year?
Yeah, I feel like we definitely could have come out better with some more juice and energy in the first half. You know, it's always hard going into halftime down, but I feel like we all rallied together at halftime. You know, we knew what we were fighting for, and you know, to be able to leave our legacy on this university, we just weren't gonna just let it go like that. So you know, we had to regroup in that second half, and that third quarter was huge. I feel like it was huge for our team as a whole, and you know, the whole total camaraderie of our team to be able to come out like that and just put up a burst of points and play good defense was a complimentary offense. So that was a much needed win, you know, to be able to call ourselves back-to-back champions. So that was a very fun weekend.
And I mean, that game kind of exemplifies what you guys have been through all year. I mean, just no quit. You struggled to start the year, up and down, but then you guys finish off strong. Is that kind of the theme of this year? Is just no quit.
Yeah, we knew we were gonna get everybody's best. You know, out of conference play, in conference play. You know, when you have that title of being a champion, you're gonna get everybody's best. So we knew that no game was gonna be quote unquote easy. You know, with college football, anything can happen on a week to week basis. So we just knew that we had to come together and just find those points of emphasis that we've been focusing on since January, and just keep honing in on those and be able to come together and get some great wins on the year.
And just talk about how good it feels to go back to back. I know you came in last year. You guys picked up that first one.
Yeah.
You came back for this moment. Talk about how just how sweet it is.
You know, this place is special. You know, being able to come in last year, I came in the summer 2024, not really knowing too much about the team or about Abilene as a city. So being able to come together and put together that type of season last year was great. You know, I had the opportunity to leave, go somewhere. You know, some people say go chase a bag, but you know, there's bigger things than that here. You know, this place really showed me that when you could put together a team that really cares for each other, and we're all fighting for the same goals and have the same type of really just same type of mindset together as a team. You know, that's when you see that you can accomplish something special. And we put that on full display on Saturday. So yeah, moments like this, you know, it makes it a great feeling for coming back.
And I mean, there's been a spotlight on you all season long. I mean, you come in, you think you're the defensive MVP for the preseason bowl, and then you guys go out and have the year you did. How good is it to kind of prove that, yeah, there's a reason why this is what it was?
Yeah, you know, all those preseason accolades is great, you know, to look at, great to post on social media for my family and my friends. But, you know, it's bigger than that. You know, only way you could really get those individual accolades if your team is winning. You know, it's hard to get all conference, hard to be all American if you 2-10, 3-9. You know, but when everybody's having that complete success as a team, you know, it shines a light on the entire team. So I started to notice, you know, a couple games this year, I'm getting blocked by multiple people. You know, even when we played against Southern Utah, one of the coaches after the game was kind of emphasizing that they started to run away from that kind of boundary side where I'm at. And, you know, it's kind of funny just hearing that from an opposing coach. Even at senior night when we played Utah Tech, one of the coaches before the team went in came over. I was sitting there with my family, and it was pretty funny because he was like, "We're glad that you're leaving." And I just like that. I mean, that's kind of the reason why I came here. You know, to be an impact player. You know, to be able to put my mark and my stamp on a university, and finally get that opportunity to really put my talents on full display. So, you know, I'm forever thankful for this university.
And I mean, you're not done yet. You got at least one more game. Lamar, a little bit of a history with ACU and Lamar. I mean, playing since 1953, but specifically more recently, KP's first game as a head coach here, and it was first win. Just talk about how cool that is. That's who you guys are going to be playing the first time.
Yeah, you know, I've been hearing about Lamar University for a while. You know, they're down there in Beaumont. I got some family kind of in that Houston area, kind of closer to Louisiana. So I've heard of the school beforehand. So I mean, that's a great university, great program. You know, they do a lot of things the right way. So that's gonna be a great game for them. It's always huge to host a first round playoff game. You know, get that momentum started. But we can't look too far into that. We got just that's what one thing I feel like that's been helping our team a lot is not trying to worry about too far into the week and going fast forward into the game. You know, taking one day at a time from meetings to practice, film study, just everything just being your best. You know, we in film, we taking notes, we looking at tendencies that the offense may give us, and I feel like that makes it a better practice week and it translates to the game when you could take those things that you see from film and you've seen it through the week, and then when it gets to the game and it pops up that like a certain formation, a certain play that they might have, and being able to see it in real time, I feel like that helps us a lot on both sides of the ball.
I mean, you were here for last year's playoff game. It was rocking. You're here for this year's Culverton game. It was rocking. Just talk about the atmosphere that when it comes to Wildcat Stadium and big-time games.
Yeah, Wildcat Stadium is special. I think I'm 11-1 since being here. NAU was the 11 win last year at home, so that's huge. Being able to have that type of really just not really home field advantage per se, but we feel that energy difference, than being on the road. So our fans are great. Students come up, they show up and show out. That Tarleton game was amazing. That type of atmosphere to be able to play in that, especially on the FCS level. I feel like the environment kind of takes people out of the game sometimes, but when the type of environment that we have, the type of game day experience, that's one thing I do love about our home games is that we get the fans involved. We get the people are engaged. The tailgates are great. The Wildcat walks, being able to go hug your family and friends, being able to see everybody. It brings a different energy to our team. And when we play at home, we know the motto: we don't lose at home. Winning at home is huge, so we got to take advantage of every opportunity we can, and that starts on Saturday versus Lamar.
And it's an all-Texas matchup. Just talk about how cool that is that you have two teams from this state competing for a national title.
Yeah, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, so I had to do my research on Texas ball, and it's huge. A lot of history, a lot of people that are invested in the schools here in Texas, either on the FBS level or FCS level. You even see what Hardin Simmons and what McMurray are doing just in the city here. We started to call it the City of Champions. Abilene is starting to create that culture, winning. So when we could have that culture and have those winning programs, I feel like it sets it up for years to come. So like KP always tells us, we digging wells and planting trees that we may not be able to drink from or eat the fruit from. So when we come back for our reunion, this whole place is gonna look different. And, that's part of the experience of being here. And I feel like we've all taken that to heart, and that's special to us.
You guys, 29-0 in one quarter is already impressive. Your defense only allowed 7 yards in that quarter. Why were y'all able to pop off like that?
I feel like it was time for us to be able to take over a game. Just defensively, what we've been able to put together these past couple of weeks. It's been special, like making teams one-dimensional. Once we take away that run game for a lot of teams, it kind of throws off their game plan. So we knew number 0, Landon Chambers, he was a great running back for Central Arkansas, had over 1,000 yards on all-purpose on the season. So we knew we had to take him away from their plan early. I'm not sure how many yards he finished with, but I think it was under like 50 yards total. So that was huge for us as a defense, really just building our confidence as well as keep refining our scheme and what we're able to do well. So that quarter was huge, and I feel like if we're able to start the first quarter like that and be able to play a complete 60-minute game, nobody could play with us. Man. I feel like we could take over any type of game like that.
Man, you guys, every game, the goal is 3 turnovers. 2 times in the last 3 games, plus 4 in turnover margin.
Yeah.
How, dude?
Nah, that's huge. We emphasize it every single day at practice. KP always, that's the first key to victory every single week is the ball. When you're able to take away the ball on defense and protecting our offense, it creates a lot of problems for the opposing team. So, yeah, Dorian Plumlee, another 2 interception game. He's having a great season. He's having an All-American type of season. He's been taking over. Noah Mangum had himself another interception as well. Tyson Williams with a huge punt return. I feel like that's what set it off. That's what really started that avalanche of just we're just overwhelming them with our energy and our passion for the game. When you're able to do that defensively and create more possession for offense, it's hard to overcome.
Man, I wanted to talk about Dorian too, because with you and Big Roach and Chris Wright and Tyson Williams, you guys have started every game over the past 2 years. But the OG of that defense is Dorian Plumlee, man. What is it like playing with that guy and knowing that he is a back-to-back conference champion? He's been a part of all of this before y'all were.
Yeah, you know, he came in with KP in the first recruiting class, so he's seen this place change. You know, he's a part of that change, and he was a big part of this defense even before we all the transfers came in. And, you know, being able to play alongside all of those guys, you know, a lot of experience now that we all have together, you know, it's huge. When we communicate on the field, it's like second nature. Like sometimes I don't even have to say anything. I hear him behind me making the calls and checks, and, you know, being able to have a guy that commands the field like that in the back end, you know, I feel like he brings all those guys together. And up front, you know, those guys are playing their best ball right now. I feel like all around, just really the box front seven, Rashawn Miles Jr., he's come along really well this year too, and I feel like we're just gelling at the right time, you know, going into the postseason.
And that guy next to you on defense.
Yeah.
You guys both cover sideline to sideline. Yet every time there's a ball on the ground, it's always RJ that gets up on that one. Man.
Yeah, we always tell him he in the right place at the right time, you know, and I feel like we kind of created like a little friendly competition between us two. We trying to get to every single tackle. We trying to get to every single pretty much just trying to take over the game any way we can, you know, being able to play next to a guy like that, even playing next to Kirby Cohealy last year, he had a lot of experience as well, and he kind of really taught me the ropes, and then now passing that torch to myself as well as pretty much passing to RJ as well. You know, I feel like that linebacker room, we have a healthy competition with trying to see who could get to the ball first or who could make that play, so I feel like we push each other very, very hard, and we just, you know, that's a hard-working man. So I feel like whenever he's at his absolute best, I feel like it pushes me even more to be at my best.
And you guys commanding a defense, Stone commanding an offense. You see any linebacker tendencies in that dog?
Yeah, nah, Stone, yeah, he's a dog. You know, any bumps and bruises he have, you can't even tell because he's fighting through everything. You know, he kind of just adapted that mindset of that no-quit mentality, and I feel like that's going on to the offense as well. And when you have a quarterback that's tough like that, willing to run the ball on the goal line. Not a lot of quarterbacks want to do that. He running through people, trying to get every point possible, trying to get into that end zone. That's huge. That brings a lot of energy. That brings a lot of just that, like how I said, that no quit mentality to the team. So, yeah, he's a dog. That's my guy.
You talked about you earlier returning for this, but the two big goals y'all set, being undefeated at home, winning a conference title, y'all did both of those. I mean, man, how do you reflect on that?
Yeah, you know, I feel like when you set those goals at the beginning of the year, I feel like KP always tells us, you got to live with the end in mind, not really trying to fast forward or trying to go past what the little things, but when you have that goal set at the that kind of like that light at the end of the tunnel, you just trying to do everything you can, just go 1-0 and everything you can do to make those dreams a reality. Not really dreams, but goals. And now them goals really starting to become expectations for this type of for this team and, you know, this program for going forward. So, I mean, we talked about it. We talked about it every day. We talked about it in workouts, practice, you know, fall camp, everything. And I feel like when you set your mind on those goals and have those expectations, I feel like when it all comes together, it's just so much fun, you know. So I feel like that's starting to become really the culture of ACU.
Shoot, last game here at Wildcat Stadium for the playoffs. What's that mentality heading in? This is the postseason. We're trying to get to Nashville here.
Yeah, so, you know, we had a good talk yesterday. You know, we come in on Sundays, we lift, run, get the soreness out, then we would come in and watch film. And I was just trying to reiterate to the team is that it's a new season. You know, everybody's 0-0. No matter what you did to get to this point, now you're here. You made it to the bracket. So now everybody fighting for one more chance with their team. You know, and like how we always say, 6 more days. We fight for 6 more days at a time. We just take every day, one day at a time. Not trying to look too fast to Saturday, you know, trying to do everything we can to deserve victory. Because you can't just wish victory for your team. You can't hope that it happens, but you got to deserve victory. So I feel like that's been the main point of focus for our defense as well as the team and the totality. The coaching staff is on board, you know, everybody's on board, administration, you know, the student body. So I feel like everybody's excited for this postseason.
Will Shaffer, you make my job so easy. Roman?
When we talked last week, you mentioned that six more days type of thing. Do you feel like that kind of changed the mindset of the team, maybe saw some of that extra energy in that second half?
Of course, yeah. You know, me being a senior, we have a lot of senior guys on this team. I feel like we all just fighting for more time together. You know, nothing's guaranteed, not even tomorrow's promise. So I feel like just taking every day one at a time, you know, taking everything with a grain of salt, just trying to fight for more time with my guys. You know, I'm trying to I'm trying to be with them as long as I can. Like we did last year, we all ate together on Thanksgiving. That was a great time, going into that first round game versus North Arizona. So we're gonna do that again this year. Thanksgiving together. Whenever you practice on Thanksgiving, that's a good thing. So you in the postseason. So I feel like that's created like how you said, a better energy for the team because we all fighting for more days together and we fight for that title.
And that dominant defensive performance last year against Northern Arizona, do you feel like that adds to the confidence of this team?
Of course, whenever you can hold a team to 0 points, no matter what level of football, that's huge. Because we always say it on the sideline, no matter what game we in, if they don't score, we win. That's because when you could force a team to become just when you take away the things that they like to do, it makes it hard for offensive coordinators, anybody on that offense. So I feel like that performance that we put on last year, being able to hold them to 0 points, that's huge. And I feel like we could do that to anybody we play against as long as we just hone in on those details and just have that complete mental focus and mental intensity that we could do something very special.
And KP yesterday talked about, the team last year was really happy to be where they were at.
Mm-hmm.
Was happy with being exactly where they were, not looking for more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And now this year it feels different. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, KP always tells us be where your feet are, because whenever you try to look too far into the future, try to wish time by, that time will go by. This season probably one of the fastest seasons I've been a part of, as a player. So really, it's crazy to even think that we're already in November. I remember sitting and getting ready to go to Tulsa on that bus trip. So I mean, we just fighting for more days together. We just fighting to keep playing great football in the postseason, and we just gotta take everything one day at a time and just try to go 1-0 this week.
And then to look back at UCA, you mentioned Tyson Williams really the spark there with that
Yeah.
touchdown. He's been reliable all year. Nothing crazy on
Mm-hmm.
that punt return game. Then finally broke one big. How big was that for the team?
I feel like that was huge for the team when you could get a special teams touchdown like that, and even all of our units, the kickoff team going down, pinning them inside the 5-yard line. That's huge as well, giving them a backed up situation. But I feel like that helped his confidence a lot. We always knew Tyson was an explosive returner. Punt return is kind of hard nowadays because the point of emphasis for teams is to get down and make sure that the returner doesn't have a chance. But once he broke vertical and then made that cut back to the field, we knew that he was going to score. So that was huge, not only for himself but as a team, because that's a whole possession of offense that we didn't have to go take because we scored on one play, pretty much one play drive or a special team. So that was huge for the team. Anytime you could score on special teams like that.
And then you were talking about guys running away from you, double teaming you.
Yeah.
How big is RJ's addition been so that they run away from you and it's still a really tough spot to go?
Yeah, he's been consistent all year. He's on that steady climb. He's just having a breakout year. Really, him and Zion Fanua, number 23 as well. We're kind of playing that 3-backer system. So when you're able to have 3 linebackers on the field, it makes everything so much easier. I'm making calls kind of to like that boundary area. Zion making calls to the D line because he was also a defensive end, kind of linebacker hybrid. So he knows what they're doing as well and what he's doing right in the middle. Then you got RJ kind of playing that outside backer to the field. It's kind of that shows like how commanding linebackers can be on the field because 2 is great, but 3 is a plus. So having 3 linebackers on the field who knows the defense and knows the scheme and have that voice. I feel like that's one thing that all 3 of us put together. We're not scared to speak up. Whatever we can do to help the team and help the defense, we're gonna do it. So I feel like that's been great. Both of those guys been great for our team.
It just feels like the team is kind of having fun right now. And
Mm-hmm.
adding to their confidence and the success. What can you say about that?
It's always fun when you win it. Whenever you win it and having that chance to fight for another opportunity, especially another home game, that's always fun. That's what we do all those hard workouts for. In the winter, in the summer, we outside, 100 degrees, running 300s on the track. It's all for this moment like we had on Saturday. All of those long nights. We in there trying to watch film, trying to find out every single thing that we can about the team. That all pays off when you're able to win a championship. So this team, I feel like this team has a lot of fun together. We do everything together. We in the hotel room on Friday night. We watching that Florida State. I think they played North Carolina State game on that Friday night. That was a crazy game. We in there watching what not to do pretty much like in certain parts of the game. So that's always a fun time, being able to spend that time with your teammates.
And then when we talked last week, you were talking about, this team's still trying to find its peak, still
Mm-hmm.
growing, getting better. Do you feel like you took a step forward towards, a peak last week?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that second half, that third quarter, really in general, that showed what we can do as a team. We still trying to find that kind of spark from the absolute beginning where we just give teams no chance at all. So I feel like we're capable of that. We still have yet to play our best complete total 60-minute football game. So I feel like our best is yet to come. So we still striving for that. We still fighting for that, and we just yeah, yes sir. We just trying to make sure that becomes reality.
Will, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for this team. My Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's amazing. He does so many great things for myself as well. I'm grateful for my family. I missed them a lot back home. They were able to come out for senior night, so it was always great to see them. I was on the phone with my dad last night, kind of just chopping it up. He's like, "How do you feel about you guys, the draw that you got in the playoffs?" And I was like, the draw doesn't matter unless we win this one on Saturday. So not trying to look too far into that, but just doing everything that we can to position ourselves to go 1-0. So I'm thankful for the great game of football. It's changed my life. Really, I tell a lot of people I wouldn't really know what I'd be doing if I wasn't playing football. College football is so special. Gave me a chance to pay for my education as well as being able to position myself to earn a master's degree in the spring, 2026 coming up. So those are things I'm grateful for.
God is good all the time.
All right, let's talk about the win against Central Arkansas. It felt kind of like a real team win. You hold a team that's had historically strong rushing to under 50 yards, and then your offense puts up 500 yards. Is this one of the most kind of complete wins you guys have had all season, you feel like?
I would have to say it was kind of indicative of every game that we've won this year. I think we have forced 23 turnovers now in the season. In our 8 wins, I think we're plus 14 in the turnover margin. And when we force turnovers, our offense does a great job of capitalizing and turning those into points. And then, I think with Tyson's special teams play, the big punt return was a huge spark. And I think all of it, it was just kind of typical fashion of how when we do win games, that's kind of what it looks like.
And, coming back from an 11-point deficit, it kind of feels like this is the theme of the year for this team. It's just no quit. You're not gonna stop coming. How good is that to see? And is that kind of accurate that that's what the theme is here?
Yeah, I think, I really try to get our guys to have great belief in themselves, and then great belief in their teammates, great belief in their coaches, great belief in the schemes that we run, great belief in the foundation of our football program, great belief in the men who came before us, the tradition that has been set here long before we were a part of it. So I think when you tie people to all that, it just kind of creates you have more of a sense of pride in what you're playing for. It's more than just, it's something bigger than yourself is probably the easiest way to say it.
And, I mean, just talk about how good it feels to be called back-to-back conference champs. Is that something that you can enjoy, or is it already on you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really dwell on it, like, other than the fact that I think after the season's over, maybe, I don't even know if it really, with the nature of college football right now, if you even, after the season's over, I didn't really focus much on the one a year ago, never really celebrated it. I think that's maybe something you do at the end of your career. But right now it's pretty much Monday, business as usual, and we fully expected to be in this situation to where we're preparing for a football game today, and hopefully we're doing it for the next 5 weeks.
And you talk about preparing for a football game today, this week. Well, this week's a little bit special. It's a Thanksgiving week. Now, not every team in the country gets to prepare for a game on Thanksgiving. Talk about just how fun that is, especially with that kind of meaning behind it.
Yeah, it's always a great thing when you're practicing on Thanksgiving morning. Whether you're a high school coach, that means you're on track to go try to win a state championship. In the FCS playoffs, it's good because you're, in the playoffs, obviously, and playing football. So it's always a good thing. There's just something about a Thursday morning practice, knowing that, man, you're going to practice and then you're going to go spend time with the people you care about, and we'll have a meal as a team, much like we did a year ago, and have the opportunity for our coaches and their wives and family to be around our players as well. So it's a great day and a lot to be thankful for.
And taking on Lamar in the first round, a little bit of history there. I mean, former SLC conference rivals. He played since 1953. It's also a little bit special to you. I mean, it was your first game and your first win. Does that mean anything? And I know it was a few years ago, but does that have anything to do with it?
Not really. Different coach, different team, different teams. Got great respect for Lamar, and when you watch them play, they're big, they're athletic, play really good defense, spread the ball around, got really good wide receivers, athletic, long, multiple tight ends. So, big athletic offensive lineman. It's going to be a great challenge, and something that we considered an honor to be able to represent our university in the NCAA playoffs, and it's our third goal. Our third goal is to do exactly what we did and make the playoffs and play for a national championship.
And second straight playoff home game right here at Wildcat Stadium. First one, atmosphere was electric. We've already had electric atmospheres this season. Talk about getting to play another home game here at Wildcat Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, just going through it with our team yesterday, it's an opportunity to go 6-0 at home this season, which would put them, the young men who have been here for 4 years, their home record will be 18-4 with 4 losses to ranked opponents by a combined 14 points, 1 point, 3 point, 3 point, 7 points. I mean, I say like a broken record, but I'm trying to instill into our players that, hey, playing at Wildcat Stadium is special. We've tried to create that to where it is a home field advantage. Our guys just play with such a confidence when we're here, and it's just again another chance to come out and watch some great FCS football. It's great for the state of Texas. It's great for the city of Abilene, for our university, for this region of the state of Texas, and for everyone to come out and enjoy some really high-quality football.
You talk about Texas football. How cool is it that a couple of Texas teams are going to be competing in the FCS?
Yeah, I think I've said it. I've done a couple of interviews where people have asked me that very same question. I think probably the best-kept secret is FCS football in the state of Texas when you look at the caliber of football that's being played. And to be able to have, the number of teams, four different teams from this state recognized within the FCS playoff bracket. There's only 24 teams, so that's a large percentage, that represent this state. So again, I just have great respect for the level of FCS football that's played.
Coach Gibson popped off. I mean, season high in yards at halftime. He's battled through injuries this year. I mean, what was that like watching him play his best football in that game?
Yeah, I think him and Stone both. I mean, Stone was 30 for 37. Did a nice job getting him the football, and really probably could have had that kind of day the week before. I mean, he turned his guy inside out several times, and it's great because he's playing his best football at the right time, of the season. So he is seems to be getting quicker and a little twitchier or something. I don't know. Like he's hard to cover. He's a big guy, and man, he's doing a great job running routes and has really stepped up for sure the last 2 weeks. Very proud of him, and Stone's doing a nice job getting him the ball.
Seriously, his route run has been neat for a huge person. +4 in the turnover differential for the second time in the last 3 games. How outstanding.
Yeah, I told our team all the way back, our defense all the way back during fall camp, said you want to win 10 or more games, force 30 or more turnovers. So we're on track to do that. We're sitting at 23 right now, and if we stay on the rate of we keep doing that and keep winning football games, because if we keep forcing 4 turnovers, the chances of winning go up drastically. Our coaches have done a tremendous job. We're attacking the football. We're playing physical. We have stopped 3 of our last 4 opponents, have rushed for less than 100 yards. We just kind of tweaked some things about a month ago defensively, and it's really starting to pay its dividends.
It's been remarkable. I mean, Central Arkansas is a running back factory, too. What was that like getting your day one, Dorian Plumlee, back-to-back conference? Last week you talked about you want him to go out as a winner. You did that.
No doubt. I mean, he's playing his best football, as you can tell. I mean, I've said it for the last couple of weeks, and just very proud of him. I mean, send him out of here, a 2-time conference champion and back-to-back playoff appearances, and man, what a way to go out and the way he's playing. I mean, 5 interceptions. I think that's tied for the most that we've had during my career here. I think Patrick Jolly had 5, maybe year 1, if I'm not mistaken. But man, he's got an opportunity if he can get a few more to leave his legacy, and as far as a defensive back here at ACU.
I mean, you said that if you want to win 10 or more games, we need 30+ turnovers. RJ has 5 fumble recoveries and 5 interceptions for Dorian. These guys just being able to do that. Why are they so good at that?
Well, I think Will alluded to it a little bit. The secret's in the dirt. It's about your preparation. These guys spend a lot of time above and beyond just the normal meetings to prepare for practice. I mean, they spend time together studying our game plan, studying our opponent, just trying to find any kind of advantage, to be successful as they can. And they've done a really good job of preparation. There's no secret to it. It's just, hey, putting in the time, putting in work, and doing everything that it takes to position yourself for success.
And to get 2 straight conference title victories for the first time since the 50s. Have these young men exceeded your expectations when it comes to the standard and tradition of ACU football?
I don't think so. I just remember we had a team meeting sometime in January back in 2022 after I'd taken the job and come back from the Liberty Bowl, and I just remember standing in front of them and just challenging the young men that were on the roster at that current time, like, if you choose to stay, you're going to be champions. And that was the vision that I had for this football program, and to play for 3 conference championships out of 4 years has been remarkable in what they've been able to accomplish. So I tip my hat. I got great coaches. I got great players. And, man, they've just bought into everything that we have brought since day one. into the program, and they're just continuing to pass the torch.
And the growth. I remember after the Tarleton game, this post-game presser, you said, my first year here, we would have jumped up and hit concrete. That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. What are you thankful for, KP?
I just thankful for great coaching staff and, great wives that, the amount of time that these guys, they walk in under the stadium when it's dark. They go home when it's dark. They sacrifice being around some of the functions that normal families get to experience. So there's a level of sacrifice to be a college football coach that I think a lot of people really don't understand. The amount of hours that guys spend working and away from their family. You're talking about this 12, 14-hour days, a lot of days of the week. So, the sacrifice, I'm thankful for the wives to be so understanding, to allow their husbands to do what they have a passion, what they have a love for. I'm thankful for our players, the way that they represent our football program, the way they represent the city of Abilene, the way they represent our university.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
Coach, talked to Will and Cortland last week. They were saying that, it's kind of a mindset change if they're playing some of their last football games, and we talked about that a little bit as well. You feel like you saw a different product on the field of those guys, kind of back against the wall towards the end of their career?
Not really, because they seem to play that way against Austin P. Stephen F. Austin, and I think the guy on ESPNU said it best yesterday. This team right here can beat anyone, and I believe that. We put our best foot forward. There's not anyone that we can't beat, and I think that's what you're seeing. These guys are just playing with an intensity because I think they're starting to believe it. I don't know if they believed it maybe back in August, but I think they may start to be believing it now.
Do you feel like you kind of see a specific game where that transition kind of was made?
I would say probably, after the Southern Utah game, because I think they realized they didn't perform to their standard. Not only that we set as a football program, but the standard that they set for themselves. There was a real hurt. And a real, I don't even know what to describe it with an adjective, what would best describe that after that football game. And no disrespect at all to Southern Utah. We have great respect for Coach Fitzgerald and what he's done with that football program. To me, that guy, he had a Coach of the Year right there. He's that far away. That's a playoff football team that we lost to, and it's no disrespect to them. They should be in the playoffs. They lose right at the end of the game against Tarleton, and they just the way they finished the season was very impressive. So I'm not taking anything away from them, but I think that game, knowing that and again, you have to give them respect because they took the ball away from us. But to have 4 turnovers in that game and lose it the way that we did, that was a gut-wrenching loss. It really was. But I think the open date came at the right time, and I think it allowed us to have to, carry that for not 1 week but 2 weeks before we have the opportunity to play again. And I think they realized that we cannot allow that to happen again, and they just kind of took matters into their own hands, and I think the byproduct of that has been going 4-0 in the month of November.
And then you talked about the strength of schedule. You guys have 2 teams in the playoffs, but then you also have 2 of the first 4 out of Austin P and Southern Utah. How big is that for just this conference?
Yeah, again, I felt like the team. I think this conference is one of the top conferences in the country. Obviously, I think look at West Georgia. I think they probably won 8 games, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't see the result from Saturday, but I know that, I have great respect for Southern Utah and Austin P, and you hate it for those guys that, you're just that close. And there's a lot of teams that didn't make the playoffs that are deserving, and there's just, I don't care if you take 24, I don't care if you take 30, someone's always going to be right there on that bubble. I know that It does. It shows the parity in this league from top to bottom.
I had one question. The Central Arkansas game was your fourth double-digit comeback win in the past 2 seasons. How do you learn to stay level-headed no matter the score and always believe that your team will win?
I think it just goes back to what I said earlier about you got to have great belief, not only in yourself, you got to have great belief in your players, your coaches, and panicking is not going to do any good, right? Like screaming at somebody is not going to do any good. I mean, if you're out there screaming, it's probably too late. So I think just sticking to the plan, just making sure that, look, everybody wanted to know, hey, what was the halftime speech? Like, I don't give speeches, right? Like I develop plans to win, and we stick to the plan, and I reinforce the plan to win. That's what I did. It's like, guys, like, do this and do this and do this, and we'll win the game. And I couldn't have, without a crystal ball, sit there and told you that the third quarter was going to, go down the way that it did. But I didn't say anything magical. It's just like there's no such thing as, that was a great halftime adjustment. Well, we didn't do anything. We went in there and regrouped, recalibrated, and said, guys, look, remember, here are the keys to victory. Number 1 is the ball, okay? So what do? We went out and we ended up taking the ball away 4 times and doing what we do on offense, and things started to click. You saw it. I mean, you saw it in our league. I mean, I saw teams in other leagues get beat by teams that were 1-10, teams that were 2-10, teams that that they just in college football, the parity in every league on every team, it's not that different. It's really not. You have to mentally prepare yourself to play, and it doesn't just happen on Saturday or Friday night. It's got to begin Sunday from the time your game is over and you put that game to bed. You have to start preparing yourself. Football is a game of passion, and it's a mental game. And if you're not in the right mental headspace to play the game of football, you're going to get beat up.
Thank you, Coach.